Have you ever sat in a quiet room only to hear it? That sudden, sharp sound. Someone is cracking their knuckles. Maybe you do it yourself. It is a common habit, this knuckle cracking. Many people do it without even thinking. It can be satisfying for the cracker. It can be annoying for those nearby. But what is actually happening when we crack our knuckles? Is it a sign of strong joints, or are we slowly damaging our hands? These are questions that have floated around for a long time, sparking debates and old wives' tales. The sound itself is quite distinct. It's not a creak, like an old door. It's not a grind, like unoiled gears. It is a definite. This sound has led to many beliefs. Some people think it is the sound of bones hitting each other. Others believe it might be tendons snapping into place. For many, the biggest concern is arthritis. Does this seemingly harmless habit lead to painful, stiff joints later in life? We often hear warnings from parents or grandparents. Stop that, you'll get arthritis, they might say. But is there any truth to this, or is it just a myth passed down through generations? A story told to stop an often irritating noise? Prepare to have your curiosity sparked, and perhaps some long-held beliefs challenged as we delve into the truth about cracking knuckles. Before we can understand knuckle cracking, we need to understand joints. Joints are where two or more bones meet. Without joints, we would be rigid like statues. Joints give us our mobility. They are the hinges, the pivots, the ball and sockets of our bodies. There are different types of joints. For knuckle cracking, we focus on synovial joints. They allow for smooth, almost frictionless movement, and synovial fluid plays a key role in knuckle cracking. Now that we understand joints in general, let's zoom in. Let's focus on the knuckle joint itself. The knuckles are, more formally, known as the metacarpophalangeal joints. So, a knuckle joint is where a metacarpal bone of your palm connects with the first phalanx bone of your finger. These are the prominent joints that you see when you make a fist. These metacarpophalangeal joints are synovial joints. This means they have all the key components: articular cartilage covering the bone ends, a joint capsule surrounding the joint, and synovial fluid filling the space within that capsule. The joint capsule is particularly important here. It creates a sealed environment. When you move your finger normally, the bones glide smoothly against each other, lubricated by the synovial fluid, all contained neatly within this capsule. The space within the joint capsule is quite small. The fluid itself contains dissolved gases. These gases are mostly carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and oxygen. This detail about dissolved gases is absolutely critical. We have set the stage. We have our knuckle joint, a synovial joint, filled with synovial fluid that contains dissolved gases. Now what happens when you apply that gentle pull or bend to your finger, intending to crack it? You are increasing the space between the bones within the joint capsule. Because the joint capsule is sealed, as you increase the volume of this space, the pressure inside the joint capsule drops. This drop in pressure is the crucial first step. As the pressure in the synovial fluid falls, the dissolved gases within it become less soluble. The rapid decrease in pressure causes the dissolved gases, primarily carbon dioxide, to quickly come out of solution and form a tiny bubble or a cavity. This process is known as cavitation. The formation of this gas bubble is incredibly fast. It's almost instantaneous once the pressure drops sufficiently. And it is the formation, or perhaps more accurately, the subsequent collapse of this bubble, that is believed to generate the characteristic sound. Once the bubble has formed, the joint feels different. Section 5. Decoding the pop. What are we really hearing? A gas bubble forms rapidly within the synovial fluid. But what exactly are we hearing? Is it the sound of the bubble bursting, or something more complex? Recent studies using MRI imaging provide new insights. In 2015, a study observed the sound occurs as the joint surfaces separate and a gas cavity forms. The cavity remains visible, suggesting the sound is from its rapid creation. This event displaces the synovial fluid, creating pressure waves that generate the cracking sound. Section 6. The arthritis myth, cracking open the truth. This is the big one, isn't it? The question on everyone's mind when they hear that knuckle pop: will this give me arthritis? For decades, this has been the primary concern associated with habitual knuckle cracking. The fear is that repeatedly stressing the joint in this way could lead to inflammation, cartilage damage, and eventually, the painful and debilitating condition of osteoarthritis. It seems like a plausible concern. But what does the science actually say? Is this a well-founded fear, or just a persistent medical myth? Fortunately, this question has been investigated by scientists. One of the most famous and rather charming studies was conducted by Dr. Donald Unger. For over 50 years, Dr. Unger cracked the knuckles of his left hand at least twice a day. However, he diligently avoided cracking the knuckles of his right hand, using it as a control. After 5 decades of this personal experiment, he reported his findings. The result? There was no arthritis in either hand. He found no difference in the incidence of arthritis between his regularly cracked knuckles and his uncracked ones. For this dedicated, albeit unconventional research, he was awarded the Ig Nobel Prize in Medicine in 2009. While Dr. Unger's study is compelling and often cited, it is essentially a case study of one individual. For broader conclusions, we need to look at larger studies. Several observational studies have compared groups of habitual knuckle crackers with groups of non-crackers. Section 7. Beyond arthritis. Are there other knuckle-cracking concerns? Alright, so arthritis seems to be off the table. That is good news for knuckle crackers everywhere. But are there any other potential downsides to this habit? Some studies have explored these possibilities. While major damage is unlikely, some research points to minor associations. For instance, hand swelling and grip strength have been investigated. Some studies suggest habitual knuckle crackers might experience slight hand swelling or decreased grip strength. However, these individuals did not show an increased prevalence of arthritis. Overall, any effects are likely minor and may not affect everyone. Section 8. The final crack, harmless habit or hidden harm. We have journeyed through the anatomy of the knuckle. We have explored the physics of we have sifted through the scientific evidence regarding its potential harms. So, what is the final verdict? Is cracking your knuckles a dangerous habit that we should all strive to quit, or is it largely a harmless quirk? Based on the current body of scientific knowledge, the answer leans overwhelmingly towards knuckle cracking being a harmless habit for most people. The most feared consequence, arthritis, has been largely disproven as a direct result of this behavior. The science tells us that the sound is due to cavitation, the formation of gas bubbles in the synovial fluid as the joint space is rapidly expanded. This is a physical process, not a pathological one. It doesn't involve bones grinding together or cartilage being torn apart. The refractory period, where you can't crack the same knuckle again for about 20 minutes, further supports the gas bubble theory, as the gases need time to redissolve. This understanding demystifies the process and removes much of the fear associated with the unknown. It's a fascinating bit of biomechanics in action, not a prelude to joint destruction. For the average person, the habit itself is not causing ongoing damage. Therefore, if you are a knuckle cracker, you can probably continue to enjoy your habit with a clear conscience, at least from a medical perspective. The primary harm associated with knuckle cracking seems to be the annoyance it might cause to people around you who find the sound unpleasant. Section 9. Echoes in our joints, a universe of sounds to explore. Our exploration of knuckle cracking has revealed the science behind a common, often misunderstood human habit. We've seen that the satisfying is a result of cavitation, the formation of gas bubbles in the synovial fluid of our joints. We've also learned that, despite persistent myths, this habit is unlikely to cause arthritis or other significant harm to our hardworking hands. This journey into the micro-world of our knuckles reminds us that even the smallest, most ordinary actions of our bodies can hold fascinating scientific principles, waiting to be uncovered and understood by curious minds. But knuckle cracking is just one example of the many sounds our bodies can produce. Our joints, in particular, can be quite vocal. Knees might creak when we stand up, ankles might click when we walk, and shoulders might pop during a morning stretch. Not all of these sounds are created by the same mechanism as knuckle cracking. Some clicks might be tendons or ligaments moving over bony structures. Some grinding sounds, known as crepitus, can indeed be a sign of cartilage wear, especially if accompanied by pain or swelling. Understanding the difference between a harmless knuckle crack and a potentially problematic joint sound is important. While the former is generally benign, other persistent or painful joint noises might warrant a conversation with a doctor or a physical therapist. The universe of our bodies is vast and interconnected. Each sound, each sensation, can be a clue to the intricate processes happening within.